Naruto, 10 Saddest Deaths, ranked. Naruto has some very sad death scenes because both the heroes and the bad guys are well liked. Which characters did you find it hardest to leave behind? As one of the most popular Shonen Jump manga turned TV shows in history, Naruto has more than its fair share of iconic fights. Even though most of the main characters have a lot of power, no one is ever safe from a sudden and tragic death. With 720 episodes between Naruto and Naruto, Shippuden, these deaths hit even harder because the characters had grown on viewers and made them like them. When a main character dies, it's hard to ignore the emotional impact of their death and the big changes it can make to the story as a whole. Before we get into what this video is about, don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons to show your support. Before we get to the interesting stuff, share this video with your friends so that they can also learn from it. 10th place is Neji. Neji was the first person to tell people about the mysterious power of the Byakugan. He was the most famous member of the Hyuga clan. Neji was thought to be one of the most talented young shinobi in the Leaf Village. After their fight in the Chunin exams, he and Naruto became kind of rivals. Neji gave his life to protect Naruto and Hinata from the attacks of the 10-tailed beast during the 4th Great Shinobi War. Even though many fans were upset that such an important character died in a way that wasn't very exciting, Madara and Obito would have never been defeated without Neji's sacrifice. 9th place is Granny Chiyo. Chiyo won over fans when she teamed up with Sakura to fight the Akatsuki puppet master, Sasori, in one of Shippuden's best fight scenes. Sakura finally got to be in a good fight, and the fan-favorite puppets were put to the test in a back-and-forth exchange. Granny Chiyo would be important to the shinobi's war efforts again when she transferred her life energy into Gaara's body as he was dying. Even though Shukaku had been ripped from his body, this act of kindness saved his life. Even though Chiyo's death would save Gaara's life in the end, it's hard not to feel sad about it. The 8th place is the 3rd Hokage. Hiruzen Sarutobi, also known as the 3rd Hokage, is the first Hokage that viewers meet in the series. He keeps Konoha stable with his royal presence. The death of the 3rd Hokage, who had taught many generations of shinobi, sent shockwaves through the Leaf Village and shows the audience that no one was safe. Hiruzen's death was hard to accept because it was caused by Orochimaru, who had once been his apprentice. Hiruzen wanted the bad guy to become a future Hokage, but that wasn't meant to be. Instead, the bad guy would spend his last moments making sure Orochimaru could never hurt anyone in the village again. 7th place is Obito. Obito was the one who started the Akatsuki and was the main bad guy for most of the show. He was one of those bad guys that you can't help but root for. His relationship with Kakashi is very similar to that of Naruto and Sasuke, so it's hard not to care about his story. Obito's path to redemption is a slow one, and Naruto won't be able to change his mind until the very end. After finding out that Madara was behind Rin's death all those years ago, it was a beautiful way to end the series that Rin and Madara made one last stand together before Rin joined them in the afterlife. 6th place is Asuma. Asuma, the son of Hiruzen, is the second member of the Sarutobi family to die in a sad way. Asuma is best known as the leader of Team 10. He helped Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji become one of the most popular groups in the series. Hidan killed Asuma during the battle against the Akatsuki. Shikamaru had no choice but to watch as his old team leader lost the battle. During his last words with the people who used to be on Team 10, he told them goodbye messages that will always be remembered by them and by viewers. 5th place is Itachi. After committing horrible crimes and killing off most of his family's bloodline, Itachi was happy to stay away from his younger brother Sasuke and die with everyone still thinking he was a bad guy. Itachi would be killed by the same brother many years later, letting him finally let go of his past regrets. But that relief wouldn't last long, because Kabuto would bring Itachi back to life and use him as a pawn in his plan to destroy Konoha. Itachi and Sasuke would work together to defeat Kabuto once and for all once they were reunited. Itachi finally gets to show how much he loves his brother as his reincarnated body fades away and the two get the send-off they've always deserved. 4th place is Kakashi. When Pain attacked Konoha, Kakashi was one of the main people protecting the Leaf Village. In a battle with Pain, Kakashi used up all of his chakra, and then he used the last of it to save Choji's life. He died soon after. Fans got to see Kakashi talking to his father in the afterlife, but it wouldn't be long before he was yanked back into the real world. If Kakashi's death had been permanent, it would have been the most important and would have been even higher on this list. Kakashi was brought back to life, and this fan favorite would go on to play a key role in the series' final showdown with the rest of the Akatsuki and the group's leader, Obito. Third place is Zabuza and Haku. Zabuza and Haku were the first main bad guys in the series. They showed Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura the biggest threat they had faced so far. Zabuza was one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, and he was very good with both weapons and jutsu. Haku, on the other hand, had one of the most interesting Hokage Genkai in the series, and he would test the Legion onto their limits. Even though Zabuza was portrayed as a cruel, cold man, that image is shattered when Haku dies to protect his master. Zabuza is also the first bad guy that Naruto can talk to instead of fighting. This makes the heroic moment when Zabuza takes Gato down with him even more moving. This death scene showed perfectly how characters are both good and bad, and Naruto's future decisions would be based on the idea that no one is just bad. Second place is Jiraiya. Throughout the series, Jiraiya's weird and sometimes sleazy personality made him a strange but likable character. Jiraiya never took himself too seriously, even though he was said to have a lot of power. He was the perfect person for Naruto to grow up with. Jiraiya was the first person to get hurt by all of the 6 paths of pain, and he held his own in one of the longest fights between 2 people in the series. Even though he was able to stop 3 of the paths, his lack of knowledge about the other 3 paths and their powers led to Jiraiya's death at the hands of Nagato. This was one of Naruto's worst betrayals. As he is dying, he thinks about what Naruto would have done and sends a message that helps Konoha get ready for Pain's arrival. Jiraiya spent a lot of his life thinking he was a failure, but he does well in this one last task and gives a heartbreaking farewell to a character many people love. The first place is Minato and Kushina. Without Minato and Kushina making the ultimate sacrifice, Naruto could never have been born. Even though Naruto has a mixed background and why his parents died aren't revealed until later in the series, Minato and Kushina's fight against Obito and the Nine Tails is one of the series' best parts. In Naruto, the main characters often die in a grand act of sacrifice, and this is also how these 2 lovers will die. This case is especially bittersweet, though, because the great 4th Hokage must not only sacrifice himself to stop Kurama, but also seal the beast's power in his newborn son. Obito's plans would have been able to hurt Naruto and the Leaf Village as a whole if Minato hadn't given his life for the greater good. Death is a common thing in Naruto's world, and it often happens to the most loved characters, which can be hard for viewers to deal with. But even in the middle of tragedy, there are times when people do brave and selfless things that remind us how important friendship, family, and sacrifice are. From Neji's selfless act of saving his friends to Itachi's ultimate sacrifice for the greater good, Naruto's characters have given us some of the most heartbreaking and moving moments in anime history. Even though we may never been able to forget these deaths, we can take comfort in the fact that these characters will live on in our hearts forever. We're glad you watched our video. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share to let your friends know about this video. We appreciate all the help you give us. Let's meet up again in the next video.